Hello, fellow Star Wars fans. My name is Starrapter. Welcome back to the channel. We're here to talk about some Star Wars comics, and we have a lot to get through today. We have 7 comics, and that's not counting the 8th comic that's coming out this Saturday on New Comic Book Day here in the US. I will be talking about that High Republic Adventures issue on next week's video, if I remember to put that in there with the bunch. But yes, we're going to start off with Dark Horse Comics, and we are talking about the High Republic Adventures. This is issue number 4, of course, written by the great Daniel Hazelder with artwork by Tony Bruno. In this, we have Sav, who has gone undercover as an agent of the Dank Graks, or at least as somebody who's willing to become a Dank Grak, because her ultimate mission is to rescue Maz Kanata, who has been captured by this Force little cult type of people that all have Force sensitivity, which is really cool. I love the fact that Daniel Hazelder has imagined this crew to be all these different kind of aliens, whether it be a Zabrak to a Geonosian to a Mune to a Cassian. It's just fantastic seeing this amount of different characters. So in this story, we have Sav that is going through these different trials that the Geonosian leader has given to her to become a Dank Grak, and in doing so, she has become very friendly with the Zabrak. It seems like they're being able to they're around the same age or able to relate to another. So yes, will Sav fall in love with this Dank Grak member, Zabrak? We shall see, but I like the reference to Terrace Sinube in this, especially about how he was somebody that trained Sav, even though Sav had a different master. It's pretty interesting there. I also love the fact that we're getting a timetable on the lifespan of a Mune. This Mune that was in the Dank Graks was already over 100 years old, so that gives me credence to believe and speculate that Munes like Plagueis, if he is a Mune, could be in the Acolyte. Let's see it happen. So very good issue here, and it's just fun to see that Daniel Hazelder is truly given the reins by Lucasfilm, Michael Siglain, everybody at publishing to just go crazy with these ideas. I love the artwork. It just pops out, goes with the vibe of this whole storyline, and they end up at Jeddah during the Battle of Jeddah. All signs point to Jeddah or Dalna in Phase 2 of the High Republic, so it's great to see. Now we're getting, okay, where does this story interface with the rest of the High Republic? Speaking of the High Republic, that's not the last. We're going to be talking about that this week, because also from Dark Horse, we have the High Republic Adventures in Nameless Terror issue number 3. So this is a 4-issue miniseries, a little bit larger, a little bit higher price point, but it packs a punch with the storyline. We have currently this group of Pathfinders and Jedi have crashed down to this nameless planet, and they are being attacked by the Nameless, who were part of this ship that was brought by the Path of the Open Hand. All their eggs, and the eggs are starting to split, and we have just a whole bunch of different, we have basically 3 storylines essentially coming together. We have Corrin, and his master actually isn't Rock, but is actually Sula. And then you also have a Bith alien that is injured, so they're trying to get her around. And the Path of the Open Hand, the crux of this issue, is the Path of the Open Hand, as much as they hate the Jedi, are forced to work with the Jedi in order to survive. And by the end of this issue, we see that things are not going so well, as some of the Nameless are breaking through these eggs. And at this point in time, these Jedi do not realize that those eggs contain the Jedi killers themselves, the Nameless. Also, you have a wraparound story. The framing story of this is involving Ty York and her droid, so I just love the narration of going through and a droid getting irritated that Ty York kind of like skips over points of the story and just tries to delay things, and it's just like us, the readers, like, oh, get to the good stuff, get to the good stuff. So speaking of good stuff, we are transitioning into the Marvel Comics for this week. It's the 5 Marvel Comics. We have Star Wars Yoda, issue number 7, Size Matters Not, Part 1, A New Threat Emerges. By the way, I forgot to mention that the previous issue is written by George Mann, Eduardo Mello for the Nameless Terror number 3. There you go. Got to give credit where credit is due. So in Yoda 7, Size Matter Not, this enters a brand new arc for the Yoda series. Remember, we're going to 3 separate stories that all combine in this 10-episode, 10-issue maxi series. So this one's written by Mark Guggenheim with Eduardo Mello, and this is the one that's set in the Clone Wars. So we have the framing of Yoda is on Dagobah, he's reminiscing, and he's given this lesson by whoever is talking to the Force Ghost that we don't see, the Force voice, that size matters not. So we see Yoda getting intel about a new droid that's being developed, or a new super weapon that we later find out is a droid. So he teams up with Anakin Skywalker to go to this place. They captured a Separatist battleship. They use that to get in close to this location, and Yoda finds Grievous there as he's getting the data he needs. And it's basically the issue about Yoda versus General Grievous. I do not believe we've actually seen this happen in the Clone Wars, or maybe some other stories canon, I don't know, but it's pretty neat seeing Yoda going against Grievous until Grievous calls in backup and fires at Yoda, and Yoda has to escape, but Yoda does get the intel he needs, and that is for the Mega Droid. There's several of these Mega Droids that are literally 4 times the size of a general human or alien, so this is going to be a big punch for the Republic if this gets out there. We've never seen a Mega Droid, so it's really cool getting that information, and I can't wait to see what it looks like. But yes, this is the stuff I've been waiting for, is Yoda in the Clone Wars. Going further into the timeline, we have the celebration of the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi going strong, and we have the Lando issue here. Remember, these are slightly bigger issues. It's simply called Lando, written by Stephanie Phillips, who I believe is a first writer to Star Wars. I do not recognize that name. And we have the artwork by Alvaro Lopez. So this is a quintessential Lando stories at heart. I mean, Lando, right before Return of the Jedi, he apparently is trying to get information about Jabba's palace, which will be infiltrating, as we see in Return of the Jedi. So he goes to one of his previous, I guess, lovers, and he's trying to get money. He's trying to get a loan for the money to pay somebody else for this information. So he ends up playing sabacc. And next thing you know, he gets double-crossed by the seller of the information, brings in the Imperials, and we have this great shootout with these great antics by Lando and Chewie. And long story short, they run the whole table, they get all the Imperials, and then they finally get the information that's given to them by the previous lover. And now they say they're flying off in the Falcon, Chewie and Lando, and they have everything they need. They have everything they need, including the disguise, because we've seen that the Falcon already had Lando's disguise. So now they have the layout of Jabba the Hutt's palace. So that's very interesting. So one thing that I had to note is there's an editor's note saying that some of this story is in reference to Star Wars issue number 38, which isn't out until September. We haven't even gotten any kind of solicits, I don't think, for September Star Wars comics. So I think that could be a first where we get a reference to something that's so far down the line after summer. So very curious to see what's happening there. Apparently Lando was already in Jabba's palace, tried to do it, failed, and had to come up with plan B, which is I need more intel to re-infiltrate. That's the kind of idea I got. But yeah, great artwork, great writing for Lando, for Chewie. This is just a perfect example of a Lando story. I really like the gambling, the blasting, everything else in there is fantastic. All right, getting into the mainline Star Wars comics now. Let's talk about Dr. Aphra, shall we? This is Dr. Aphra issue number 31. All Made One, written of course by the Dream Team, Alyssa Wong, with artwork by Min-Kyu Jung. So this is what I believe to be like the epilogue to the Hidden Empire storyline with the Ascendant. So Aphra has come to, the Ascendant is no longer part of her. She is back, and she's making amends to all her friends. She sees that all of her friends, Just Lucky, Ariel, you got Detta, you got her father, you got, of course, Son of Staros, Magna Tolvin, all these characters that have risked their lives to help save Dr. Aphra. Dr. Aphra is not the best speaker from the heart because she kind of botches her little speech like, thanks everybody, and it took her a while just to say that. So it's really just tying up a lot of the loose ends for all these characters, right? You see the character of Kofan Ferris and Detta Yal, they're having fun behind closed doors. Then you see Son of Staros and you see Dr. Aphra getting a little action. You're seeing a proposal in Star Wars. I don't know if we've seen that before, but Just Lucky proposes to Ariel Yu. I think I've said Ariel or Yu, the last name for Detta Zhao. Ariel Yu proposes with that cursed ring from the very first couple issues of Dr. Aphra. So it's coming around full circle. Love that writing for Alyssa Wong, tying everything together. So this is really like everybody breaking up with Dr. Aphra. And by the end of this issue, Aphra is kind of left with nobody. And we get this little after credit sequence, if you will, where she shows up on Numidian Prime, where Luke Skywalker is, and basically gets him to pass out with smoke to get him to do her bidding for whatever is next for her. So she is set up in this next couple issues to be working with Luke Skywalker, which we've seen before, way back, I think, in 2016 or 2017 with the Shattered Citadel, I believe, which is like that vampiric, gothic Star Wars storyline crossover between Star Wars and Dr. Aphra. And we know we're going to get a lot of crossovers in August with the Dark Droids big event coming out for Marvel. So yeah, this was a really touching, kind of strong in the feels issue that really brought in all these characters, tied up the loose ends, and I'm very excited to see where Aphra goes next, because the Ascendant issue is that's all dealt with. We're getting that new adventure story for Dr. Aphra. Speaking of a new story, we're going to be talking about Darth Vader. So we have Darth Vader issue number 33. This is called Unbound Force Part 1, written by Greg Pak with artwork by Adam Gorham. And this issue starts us off in the middle of things, right? So all of a sudden there's been a force wave, and it's on Coruscant. You see the character of the Umbaran character, basically that's dealing with, oh, it's getting a bloody nose because this character is a force sensitive. I want to say Sny Soodles, but that is not the character I'm thinking of. But anyway, it's close to that name, I think. But this Umbaran is basically dealing with, okay, what's going on here? And then next thing you know, you see Emperor is also dealing with. The Emperor is just unleashing lightning, destroying everything. This powerful force wave has enveloped inside the soul and is going crazy with all this. And then you get cut back to Darth Vader, who's also experiencing the same sort of thing. And he is just going berserk. Like, he is just ripping apart the Executor to the point where the character of Sabe says, I gotta get Vader out of here. She gets him on this shuttle. He's destroying the shuttle. They basically crash land on this planet full of vibrant plant life. And it's kind of like a vacation for Vader. Like, she's trying to get Vader to, like, just chill, just mellow out. And apparently Vader says, oh, this is more of a test for her than it is for him. So I thought that was really interesting about this force wave and about what the heck caused this. Was it from the Fermata cage and there was like a delayed reaction of this force wave going out into the galaxy? Or where is this force wave from? It's interesting. I'm happy that we're done dealing with the handmaidens, but it does look like Sabe is now cemented in her idea of being part of the Empire. How committed to the Empire will she be? She's pretty dead set at this point, and she's a commander. So it's very, very, very interesting where this is going. I'm very excited to see where this goes next. And last but certainly not least, we have Star Wars issue number 34, A Fractured Alliance, written, of course, by Charles Soule, with artwork by Madabek Musabekov. So this is a story about Luke coming to terms with his kyber crystal of the lightsaber, the yellow High Republic lightsaber he found. The kyber crystal's cracked. It's not a reliable lightsaber. It turns on and off. He feels, after reading these Jedi texts, which is really cool, by the way, that he has to find his own kyber crystal like the previous Jedi did, because a Jedi kyber crystal is essentially a living object to a certain degree, and it connects uniquely to its wielder, right? So he's got to go out on this journey, this quest to find the lightsaber. So Ilum is off the marks, right? He'd already tried that before. There's a huge Imperial presence, but he found out that if he goes to Christophsis, which is really cool because that's from the Clone Wars movie in 2008, that they might have kyber crystals there. So of course Luke Skywalker, you know, he's not the most subtle sometimes. So he goes to the bar. He wants to basically buy his kyber crystal, which is really not how you do it if you're a Jedi. You just kind of stumble upon it. It becomes one for you. It's finding you. And in doing so, he gets saved by this character named Greta. And she kills everybody in the bar without them even doing anything. He's completely shocked. He's saying, why would you just kill these people? Who are you? What the heck do you want me? And she claims that she is a character from a family line that is called the Falanasi that came from Jeddah. Their line is not really force sensitive anymore, so she knows a good deal about kyber crystals and whatnot. And she already knew that these people on this planet were specifically reacting to Jedi and would call the Empire, give them tips, and get paid money, credits for tipping off the Empire to these Jedi that are looking for these kyber crystals, surviving Jedi after Order 66. So they have this whole big rack at this planet. So she explained that to him, and he's still kind of freaked out because like this girl just out of cold blood just kind of killed all these people. It's insane. So she finds out, she tells him this information of, oh, I know somebody that is a kyber scientist that I hid here. He was of like the same type of caliber of Galen Erso and all them for creating the Death Star. The Imperials were trying to suck up all these kyber crystal scientists to work on the Death Star. So great Rogue One connection, great connection there. And basically it's a story about them trying to find this guy. And by the end, they do find his character. And, you know, this is going to be interesting to see where it goes from here. But it's really cool to finally get that story. We're finally getting that important story of how Luke went and created the lightsaber. In the first arc of this volume of Star Wars, Luke came to grips with losing his lightsaber on Cloud City and like, I don't need a lightsaber anymore. And now he realizes, oh, I actually need a lightsaber that's personalized to me because I'm going to have to end up dueling Darth Vader once again, my father, once again. I do like seeing the choice that he's wearing a black outfit, so that does signify we are very close to the events of Return of the Jedi. And they actually say at one point it was like 4 years since the destruction of the Death Star or something like that. So yeah, we are definitely getting close because there's that year gap, and now we're 4 years, so we're very close to Return of the Jedi. All signs are important there. We got to go through the Dark Droid storyline in August, and then I really strongly think that hopefully by January, with the 40th anniversary, we're going to tie things up and move on to a new era of Star Wars comics. Hey, maybe at New York Comic Con 2023, they will have a big introduction of what comes next for Star Wars comics, or San Diego as well. So there you go. I just broke down 7 Star Wars comic books, not even all of them for this week, because like I said, we have the 8th one coming out on Saturday. So there you go. Was there anything I missed? Let me know in the comment section down below, and let me know what you thought about this week's comics. What were your favorites? Let's talk about them in that comment section down below. For more on Star Wars, you're already in the right place. I'm in the middle of my Jedi Survivor playthrough. I'm loving it. It's taken up all my spare time essentially that I have, but I will get that review out to you guys as soon as I finish the game and I gather my thoughts. And spoiler alert, it's a very, very great Star Wars game and a very great video game in general. So be on the lookout for that. Also be on the lookout for Outer Rim Transmission, my weekly Star Wars podcast. We're back to our regularly scheduled programming every Friday at 9 o'clock Eastern, hopefully, because the last couple weeks we've been starting a little bit late, but we're going to get back to our normal schedule here as my life begins to kind of balance and level out for now, supposedly. So there you go. That's going to do it for my look at the Star Wars comics for this week. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. May the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.